I got to tell a little story about this song before I do it. I'm kind of an amateur songwriter, and one of the things you learn about songwriting is if you wake up in the middle of the night with something on your mind, don't lay there in bed and say, "Oh, I'll do it in the morning." Get up right then and go and write it down. At least you'll get the idea down. Well, that's kind of what happened on this. I came home from work one time, been out all night long firefighting, and I was so tired, smelled, stink from the fire and everything, and just didn't feel like going to take a shower or nothing. My wife was about to let me get in bed, so I just took an old sheet, spread it on the sofa, and got on the sofa and just conked out. About 3 hours later, I woke up and this song was on my mind, and it was just so strong. It was coming to me so fast, and within 7 or 8 minutes, I got up and got a pencil and paper and jotted it down, and within less than 10 minutes, I had all these verses. Don't ask me where they came from. I wasn't thinking about anything like this or anything, but I found out about maybe 4 months later what I believe was the reason for this. Bill brought up in the Sunday school that most of us have had a time in our life when we felt the hand of God was real close to us. Well, this was one of my times. And then I went to a little church in Glendale, Texas, where my mother goes up there, and they had a Saturday night singing, and people could get up and just do any song they wanted to do. And so I got up and I said, well, I'm just going to sing that song. Never have sung it to anybody. Nobody even has ever heard it or anything but me, and I'm going to sing that song. And I didn't get into it, but maybe just a little bit. And there was two guys sitting kind of toward the back, older guys, and they just started looking at each other, and then finally they started crying, and they were hugging each other and all kind of stuff. I don't know what was going on, and I just kept singing it. Come to find out, these two guys, one of them was a member of that church, but the other one was visiting him, hadn't seen him in like 20 years. They stormed up the beach in Normandy on D-Day together. And they fought in that, that was a horrible, horrible battle, one of the biggest battles, I guess the turning point of the war, World War II. And so they fought side by side, and they were best friends because of it. Saw so many of their friends die and everything, and I think God gave me these words that day for those guys on that day. So the name of it is, Do You Believe in Jesus Christ? A man lay dying on the battlefield, in pain his lonely soul was filled with fear and shame, remembering his short life. And as his blood poured out upon the ground, he frantically searched all around for someone who could help him make it right. Bombs were bursting all around him there, and bullets flying everywhere. Men were crying out for help that never came. His hope was growing very dim. He knew his chances, they were slim, so he called upon the one and only name. That name he'd heard. Oh, I dropped my pick. Devil's trying to stop me, y'all. That name he'd heard when he was just a child, a tender boy, so meek and mild, far from this nightmare in this foreign land. He remembered how he heard it said that God would never turn his head from those who truly took him by the hand. So he looked up in the darkened sky and stretched his hands up very high. He cried out, help me, Lord, I know I need you now. And send someone, my precious Lord, to open heaven, shining doors. I'm coming, but I need someone to show me how. Then another fell down by his side, and he said, son, open your heart wide. He turned and he saw the chaplain kneeling there. Then all his pain, it went away, and tears of joy ran down his face as he led him in the blessed sinner's prayer. The boy grew weaker, and he could not speak. But he nodded yes, that he believed. And then his soul flew quietly away. In heaven he will surely be someday for all of us to see, if we answer yes to what the chaplain had to say. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? He said, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you believe he is your Savior? Come on in. Do you believe that he's the only one, that he's God's one and only Son, and that he alone can save you from your sins? Oh yes, he alone can save you